Hi all. I just want to talk to you today with in regards to my student for my case study. I believe I've changed her name just for privacy reasons, so we'll just call her Ruby. This is a case study of an ELL. Now, the student is in year 4, so in American terms, that's grade 3. She's 9 years old now, currently. She is Egyptian, and she comes to ESL twice a week for basically literacy lessons, and then also when other students go to foreign languages, she comes to me again for more assessment and more intervention for English language learning. The student misses a great deal of school for unknown reasons. The parents aren't very transparent with us in regards to why they're missing school. It's just family related, or job related from her parents. So we don't know exactly why she misses school. She'll just show up 2 weeks later after missing 2 weeks, and then another week goes by, and then she misses another week or two. It's quite frustrating when we're trying to build her growth. Student was recommended to stay behind in year 3 for the 2019-2020 school year. However, her parents decided against it. They came late last year in December, and then we went on Christmas break, and then when we came back, she was gone for another 2 weeks. So she had missed all of year 3 basically in the first half, and then half of year 3 the following year. And now she's in year 4. It's a private school, it's an international school, so if the parents are paying, they generally have the last say. Student has an IEP, which we'll look at that later, and student goes to learning support in addition to ESL. The strengths of Ruby. She is a motivated learner when she comes to class. She's positive, she likes learning, she's happy, and she's confident in trying to speak and complete activities. She's always smiling. She wants to contribute in lessons. She's a happy child. And she started slightly to grow where she needs less teacher support on some activities, mainly phonics, writing your simple phonics that we go over, the s, a, t, p, eh, those types of phonics. She retains that information because she learned that last year, but we're starting from scratch again this year in year 4 for her ESL. So I think she's retaining some of that from the previous year. Her weaknesses: she misses school constantly, like I had said before. She requires a lot of repetition. So if I do something one lesson, I have to reteach it the next lesson because she had forgotten. That's in her IEP as well. She has a very low reading level for her age. Like I said, she has a very low reading level for her age. She doesn't retain the reading that she had read the previous day or the previous night. She should be at year 4. She should be at stage 4 for reading, but we find that she's still at stage 1 or below stage 1 in accordance to our level-based reading activities that we implement at my school curriculum-wise. Her spelling has become a bit stagnant, meaning she's not able to do the blends of the phonics, like S and L together, sl, or C and H together, ch. She is unable to put those two together in order to make the standard phonics spelling, where her peers that are beginners in her lessons are beginning to start blending phonics together, and they are language learners who have just come to English. Another aspect is it is hard to understand when she's speaking at times because she doesn't retain the phonics information. Therefore, it's constantly being retaught. She mixes up phonic sounds and doesn't know how to bring those sounds together. Even when chunking material, she often forgets on what to say. Some strategies for implementation I've discussed with the learning support teacher and other teachers like her homeroom teacher. We would like to give her multiple options and choices for answering questions. Don't just ask an open-ended question, or don't just give her one answer questions. Give her multiple choice questions. Let her find it out for herself. A, B, C, D in writing, and orally give those options so that she can circle which one it is, because she lacks the reading level in order to access the multiple choice questions. So giving them orally would be best for her. Visual representations of vocabulary and commands. This works wonders for her. She can see what is happening, and she can understand directions and commands when she has a visual in front of her. Of course, repetition of phonics constantly, every day, every lesson, always going over and reviewing the phonics that we've tried to implement with her and see if she's retained them, with TPR, of course, or miming the motions. We have installed a curriculum with Jolly Phonics, which works wonders for students of beginners of English. Checklists for completion for student motivated in her own learning, to motivate her in her own learning. Giving her goals and checklists. Did she complete this today? Did she do that yesterday? Will she be able to do this the following lesson? Basically allows her to see and take agency in her own learning. More strategies. Guided reading and one-on-one activities work really well. Having her try and build her self-correction when reading. That means when students see a word, they say it incorrectly, but then they realize and go back and say it correctly. Trying to implement that strategy in reading. Working with her one-on-one. Heterogeneous grouping for students to become motivated more. Working with others to, build her confidence. Maybe she feels not so good in this area, so another student can help, or maybe she feels really strong in this area and she can help them. Communicating, again, for cross-curricular activities, working on what the homeroom teacher is working on or the learning support teacher is working on, and implementing that into my class. Setting individual and achievable realistic goals daily and weekly. So, like I had said before with the checklist, Ruby will be able to do this today, or did she do this today, and make them realistic in her own zone of proximal development. Worries and concerns about Ruby. Students, we as a teacher, myself, and also as a school, we are worried that she will miss too much school to implement these strategies and gain progress. I think last year she had missed around 90 days of school in total, which is a lot of school, and for reasons we still are unsure of. Students will continue this path due to parents' job and move throughout the system, quotes, without progress. I say the system just by meaning she will just get passed along to the next year, without any sort of progress and growth. And that's a concern of ours because we're teachers and we want to help our students. Again, parents just don't seem concerned, just as long as Ruby is happy. We have this with some other students, but they're not missing as much school as Ruby is. Parents just want their child to be happy, and as long as they come home smiling, then they're happy. And this is a concern because we're not babysitters. We want, of course, our students to be happy, but we want them to grow and progress in a natural way that is catered to their level. And another concern personally is that the student will forget strategies and need to be retaught constantly. Student is missing these basic skills by missing so much school, and reteaching is a constant factor with this student. So that concludes my presentation on Ruby, and I would really appreciate some others if you have any strategies to implement with Ruby. I'm all ears. So thank you for listening.